Everyone. Happy Monday. Thank you guys so much for joining with me here on Candid Conversations this morning. Today, we're going to talk about the balancing act or creating balance. But before we do, don't forget to hit the notification bell, the like button, so you can be notified when I go live and we can connect, engage, have great conversations, which I think is important in regards to building community and growing together. Have you ever thought about life as a balancing act? Do you feel like you look at life as a scale, and if I do this on this side, whether it's work, home life, then I have to balance it out on the other side? And do you ever feel like that is stressful just trying to create balance in your life? Um, Yes. The if I'm asking myself the question, the answer is yes. And a lot of times if we look at life that way, or we feel like everything has to be equal and we're off balance, then I want to help us create a new perspective on what balance actually looks like. Because a lot of what people say is, creating work life balance, home, work balance, family life balance, all of those kind of things. But I think if we look at it through the correct lens, it will help us to be able to understand or have a better perspective of what balance is for the season of life that we're in. And I think it's important to understand that we live life in seasons. And what do I mean by that? Maybe when you're younger, you're going to college, or you're starting out your career, maybe starting a new relationship. Well, there are some things that you're going to put to some of those new things: extra time, extra effort, because it's learning new things. In relationships, you have to learn. You want to grow in relationship, you have to learn about that person that you are getting into relationship with. The same with work. You have relationships that you're building, and a relationship that you're with your work, and understanding what the job is, and creating that efficiency, but also creating that time and schedule. And the same with a family. Can I tell you, family stages are different. When you are newly married or newly in a relationship, there's going to be more time that is spent because there is learning. That doesn't mean less time is spent later, but the time is different. The newness of a season and learning and growing is important in setting foundation. And so understanding what season of life you're in. If you've been in relationships, or you've been at a workplace for a long time, or in a career, for a longer time, you may not have to set as much time into learning and building foundations, but in growing. And so that's going to look differently in maturing, and your relationships getting better, your work becoming more efficient, and growing in that, maybe getting promotions and whatnot. But we have to look at our life in seasons, and each season brings different challenges, and creating a balance, or balancing act in those times, is understanding what season am I in. The season that I'm in is, my husband and I are empty nesters. We live close to our grandkids, but we have our own schedules. And so we can create things differently based on two of us versus, there was four of us in the house, or, I work from home. So, creating and setting things up is different for me in this season than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, even a year ago, when we were living in Seattle before we moved here. And so it's understanding what my season is, and then I can go out from there. So understanding your current season of life. How do I create balance? I want to give us 4 things today on how you can create balance and get a better understanding, and break things up so they don't seem overwhelming. I know a lot of times, life in itself can be overwhelming. There's so much that goes on a day-to-day basis. And so how do we break it down so it's palatable, so we can, take bite-sized pieces and begin to work with those bite-sized pieces in creating balance? And can I tell you, this isn't a one and done thing. This is something that we have to create and produce in our life, and it becomes part of, who we are and what we do as our seasons of life change. And by day to day, can I tell you, you're going to be thrown things, and you have to learn how to catch it and throw it back. And so it's learning how to create that balance and not allow life to take you or consume you, or be so heavy that it causes stress and anxiety. So, number one, understand your current season of life, creating balance. Number two, determine what's important in this season. What's important in this season for me is health. And if you guys know any of my story, last year I was diagnosed with cancer, and so health is a big deal. And being mindful and what is going on with myself, stress and work and home life, and creating that balance and peace in my life. Also, my husband and I are in a different season. We're in a different place, and really creating those moments where we can connect in this new season of our life. Married for life, dating for life is what we are endeavoring to do. I want to enjoy my latter years more than I enjoyed my former years. And can I tell you, I want my honeymoon experience to be lifelong, not just something that started out our relationship. So determine what's important in this season of your life, in your current season. Creating balance. Number one, understand your current season of life. Number two, determine what's important in your current season of life. And number three, set priorities. What's important to you, and give time to what's important and what's necessary for this season. For me, creating my priorities and setting those, I do it through prayer and worship and reading my Bible. It helps me to get a different perspective, change the way that I think, and so I can have priorities and set them accordingly. And last but not least is create a schedule. You may not be a person that schedules. You might be someone that is a little bit more spontaneous, fly by the seat of your pants. But can I tell you, creating a schedule will help you to put, especially when you are busy. If you are a young mom or young parents, you're starting out a new career and you've got a lot going on, in your social life, your home life, family life, work life, and you're trying to fit it all in without being overwhelmed. Can I tell you, one of the greatest things that you can do is create a schedule. And you have your phone, you have a calendar, and put that in there, and it helps you. It doesn't mean it's set in stone, but it means you're planning out your day and you can move things around accordingly. But can I tell you, setting a schedule is going to help you with your priorities, help you keep that balance in your life, and keep looking at what your priorities are. And we can adjust and manage our priorities on a daily basis as we need to. So if you want to create balance, 4 easy ways, I shouldn't say easy, but 4 things that you can do to help create balance in your life: understand your current season, determine what's important in this season, set priorities, and then create a schedule and a plan to make it happen. Hopefully this has encouraged you today. It's encouraging me. You have a great Monday. I will see you back here on Wednesday